Okay, I have a confession. I am an overthinker, but I'm guessing I'm probably not the only one. The other day, I was thinking about what I could have done with in my 20s, and I feel like a video with some form of advice of how to maneuver that era would have been beneficial. And so today I'm talking to my old self and maybe trying to help some of you out there that are in your 20s now and need a little bit of advice. I'm not a professional, I'm not a therapist, but I do have some thoughts. I also have some green tea, so before we even get into this video, pause right here, go and grab yourself a beverage of your choice and hold on to your chair. I'm joking. This is not going to be one of those conversations, but it is going to hopefully be useful. And as I always say in my videos, if it helps at least one of you out there, then my job is done. Let's talk about it. I obviously can't speak for everyone, but my 20s were questionable. There was a lot of significant events happening at that time, a lot of change, a lot of just confusion, I think is the only way I can put it. I was trying to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do with my life, how I was going to get there. There were so many questions. And to be honest, some of those questions are still there, but I feel like now I've entered my 30s, I just feel a lot more stable, even though some of the things that I want are still not yet in place. I think what I just needed in my 20s was someone to write me a book full of advice that I could refer to when I was going through, I don't know, challenging or difficult situations, just to kind of give me a guide on how I can deal with this or get through this, because I didn't feel like I had that. I mean, I have got a bunch of advice, but I thought I'd do one video, and obviously if you guys want a part two, then definitely let me know down in the comment section. I'll be so for real, there's no particular order to these because I think they're all very significant, but I will start out by saying love yourself first and love yourself abundantly. You're probably sick of hearing that. We went through a phase where everyone was talking about, you know, you gotta love yourself first, you gotta put yourself first, but it's so true. You have to be able to love yourself first so then you can extend that love to somebody else. And if your cup is already full, then if someone else is added to that equation, all that's going to do is overfill your cup, and that's a beautiful thing. I spent a lot of time in my 20s questioning my worth, you know, didn't have the best confidence. I was still trying to figure out who I was as a person. I was still trying to come to terms with the way I look. Like I was still trying to find my feet basically. So although I don't have any regrets, I do wish that I would have spent more time focusing on me and pouring into myself rather than extending that to relationships, friendships, whatever the case may be. Yes, they all help to build you as well, and they are going to play an important part in your life. I'm not denying that, but I just feel like there's something so beautiful about having a wholesome and fulfilled relationship with yourself. Like, can you spend time with yourself alone? How does that feel to you? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Like, that's what you need to listen to. If it feels bad and you're in this cycle of feeling like you have to be with somebody else all the time, then I would definitely try to find ways to love on yourself more, whether that's self-care, going out on solo dates, treating yourself to nice things. Like, love you first because you are your priority. And although I'm grateful and blessed for the journey that I've been on, I do wish I would have known that sooner. The next piece of advice I would give is to just start. There were so many times I would have an idea. Like, I used to walk around with my phone and just type in random ideas that would come to my mind. I still do that now, but I never acted on them. And then later down the line, I would see other people doing those business adventures or doing whatever it may have been at the time. And I would just think, that could have been me. but it wasn't, because I didn't take that plunge. I was too scared, I would say. I think fear played a big part for me. And also just not having that confidence in myself, or feeling like I had the capability or the knowledge to be able to do that thing, which is really sad looking back, because I had so much potential and I definitely could have started some of the things that I'm doing now earlier. But I know it's all in God's timing, and I'm not mad at that at all. But if you're watching this and you're in your 20s and you got an idea in your head of what you want to do, whether that's start your own channel, build your own business, write a book, I don't know, the options are endless. If you have any of those ideas and you're just scared to start, I cannot emphasize this enough. Please just start. Even if you just do one teeny weeny thing that's going to take you one step closer to that thing, you won't regret it. And I always think as well, what's the worst that could happen? At least you know you tried. And I feel like knowing that you tried is much better than having those regrets. You probably heard me mention in that segment as well, God's timing. I went on a holiday to Portugal and it genuinely changed my life. I bought a book, read the book. The book was called Conversations with God. And since reading that book, it was almost like a light bulb moment. And since that moment, I've just felt like I've got so much closer to God. I'm trusting in God a lot more. And I feel like I just feel so much more secure in myself because of that. And that brings me nicely onto my next point, which is trust in God's plan. Listen, God's got you. Whatever the case may be, God has got you. I know it might not feel like that all the time, but I promise you, everything will eventually work out. I've been in some really dark spaces in my time, and sometimes things have had to get really dark before they've got brighter. And at the time, I never really understood how I got there. But when I come out the other side, I get that clarity and that understanding. And if I want to see something, God always shows me. So you don't need to stress, okay? Just let God do what he needs to do and trust that you're going to be okay. If you feel like the universe is trying to tell you something, listen to it. Because if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Okay? I've never been somebody that is money motivated. I've always just wanted to be happy and have peace. Those have been the two things that I've always wanted to have. Like, money isn't everything to me. However, as I got older, or more so probably in my 20s, I realized, oh my gosh, there is this thing called money. And yes, I do need it if I want to be comfortable. And yes, I do need it if I want to have nice things. And that's when my mindset changed. However, I was very focused on trying to find ways to make money. And I think although money is important, it's also important to invest in yourself in other ways as well. And I know that also takes money to do anyway. But I just feel like investing in like clothes, shoes, designer brands, whatever the case may be, that's all cool and everything. But how about we invest in therapy, I don't know, training sessions, studies, new courses, new activities that are going to teach us a new skill. I feel like investing in yourself is one of the best investments you can ever make. And if you have the funds or the knowledge or the skill or the resources to be able to do that, do it. Even if you don't, I promise there's a way for you to do it. So just find a way, and don't be disheartened if you don't have the money to do it. That's fine. You can get creative and find different ways to invest in yourself as well. I'm in my 30s now and I started therapy, but I just think like if I would have started therapy in my 20s, now I'm in therapy, like everything is just starting to make sense, and I'm reflecting more, I'm thinking more, I'm making more conscious decisions. You know, I just feel lighter, and I feel like someone having access to that sooner would be really, really beneficial. So yeah, interpret that as you wish, because I know investing in yourself might look different to different people, but I think it's really important. I mean, just read a book. Like, even reading a book, like, you're gonna learn something new, you know, from reading that book. Build your knowledge, build your skills, perfect your craft. I remember being told all the time by older people that time is gonna go so quick. You should enjoy your life while you can. I never really took it in, you know, because you're like, yeah. And then time goes really fast. And you're like, oh, I swear someone's told me this before. And they're right, time does go really fast. So I think it's so necessary to try and be as present as you can be in the moment. Try to not get too ahead of yourself. And I am definitely guilty of, you know, thinking about the next 5 years, the next 10 years, which is good. But I feel like sometimes when you're always thinking about the next best thing or looking into the future too much, you can then also lose sight of where you're at right now. And that's just as important. Whether that's by, you know, showing yourself grace for where you're at, or just appreciating the things that you are experiencing, whether you're going on a holiday, whether you're meeting up with friends, whether you've just crossed a new milestone. Acknowledge all of that, because that is a part of the journey, and it's so important to make sure that you fully immerse yourself in those experiences so that you don't overlook them. I hope that makes sense. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been on my health journey for the longest time. Okay, my weight has been up, it's been down, it's been here, it's been all around. Like, girl, I've been trying to figure it out for a really long time. But if there's one thing that I've definitely learned now that I wish I would have known sooner, it's the importance of being disciplined. I feel like discipline will get you so far in life, not just in relation to your health journey, but in relation to other parts of your life as well, whether that's relationships, whether that's having boundaries, whether that's having a routine. Like, these are all things that are going to set you up really well in life. And if you can start building a sense of discipline from a younger age, I feel like that will aid you a lot more as you get older. I'm not saying be super strict on yourself, because you're in your 20s, like, live your life. But just be mindful as well that discipline plays a crucial part. I think that ties in really nicely to my next point, which is to try not to compare your journey to the journey of others. I feel like I spent a lot of time, you know, thinking, oh, this person's doing this and I'm not doing that, and, you know, they're making this much money and I'm not quite there, or they've got this person and I don't have that, and I wish I just did less of that. And it's easier said than done, but if you can find ways to just focus and home in on what you're doing for yourself, then in some ways I feel like you're a lot more focused, because you're not dwelling on other people. And I feel like that can also have a negative impact on the way you see yourself, the value you have for yourself, and your confidence. That fear that I was talking about earlier is going to be heightened because you're fixated on other people's lives and what they're doing and how far they've come. Everybody's journey is different, and everybody's journey is beautifully theirs. Just embrace that. Respect that. Put boundaries in place if you have to. Don't live on people's Insta stories, you know, looking at what they're doing, what they're up to. I personally barely even watch people's Insta stories. That would be so for real. I love Instagram, but I just don't like how it makes me feel sometimes, especially because I'm in my 30s now. I feel like, you know, everyone's getting married, everyone's having babies, and I'm just not there. And that's okay. That's not a desire for me right now, but seeing that can sometimes put this added pressure on you that I personally don't need. If you're in your 20s and you're seeing someone, you know, going on these lavish trips, getting lots of money, having an amazing career, there is the potential there for you to feel less than, and I don't want you to feel like that. So if you can minimize how much you expose yourself to that, then great. I mean, in some ways it probably will also motivate you, because it will make you maybe want to try a bit harder or give you some inspiration, which is great. But if you pay attention to how it's making you feel and you don't like that feeling, then you need to listen to that. Right, come here, come here, come here. Because I need you to hear this right now. Because, yeah, it sounds a little bit crazy. I get that. But I promise you, manifestation is real. And you're probably a little bit, I'm not sure about that, Adriana. But I promise you, manifestation is real. Yes, I said it, and yes, I meant it, and yes, I've experienced it, and yes, it is real. Be mindful of the words you speak, the thoughts you think, what you put out into the universe, because been there, felt it, done it, and if anything, I feel like it fine-tunes more in your 30s. Either that, or you just realize it's a thing. Like, the amount of things I manifest currently without even intentionally doing it is wild. If I would have had that understanding in my 20s of, the impact my words can have on my life and the lives of others as well, then yeah, that would have been really useful to know, because now I try my best to be as optimistic as possible. I try my best to speak positively. I know it's not always possible because some people be trying me sometimes, girl, but it makes a difference, and it will impact your day, your mood, the way you feel, all of that. So don't play about manifestation. Do your research. This next point is going to be really hard to say because it's still a work in progress for me. I'll be so for real. But leading with love and learning to let go. May I have a moment of silence, please? Yeah. It ain't easy. Trust me, I am like, I love holding on to a grudge. I love it. Well, I say I love it. I obviously don't love it because it has a negative impact on the way I think. It has a negative impact on how I go through life. It affects me mentally, and that's not how I want to feel. I enjoy being in a peaceful state. So having that thought in my head ain't gonna help me. What I would advise you to try to do is try to find ways to let go of whatever it is that you're holding on to that is not doing any good for you. Whether, I don't know, you had a breakup and you're holding on to this hope of getting back together with this person, but they're no good for you, like, let it go. Or whether that's somebody calling you a name that you really don't like and you're holding on to it because you're about to get some revenge, let it go. Everybody in this life is going through something. I've realized that. And even though you might not understand what they're going through something. And that's not an excuse, because I feel like no matter what you go through, like, choice comes into it as well, and you can decide who you want to be and how you want to navigate life. But to an extent, I think we should also show people grace where we can. And I think the best way to do that is just by letting go, putting in place your own boundaries and trying to show love if you're able to do so. You might not be able to do so, and that's fine. I'll be so for real. I have sent some fiery messages in my time. When the keyboard warrior comes out, or the fiery, just angry you comes out, and you type it and you send it, and then you think, okay, you might not think that straight away. Actually, you might be quite happy about what you sent initially, but then when you reflect on it, you think, So I feel like taking this approach to it instead is actually less emotionally draining for yourself as well. Remember, you are your priority. So you need to look after yourself, girl. And that brings me on to my final point for this video. And I think it's such a profound point. Expectations. Don't have expectations. What is it they say? Expectations only lead to disappointments. I've lived, and trust me, I'd say that's pretty true. I would say where you can, let people be who they are, and eventually they will show you. It is so draining wanting someone to be someone or do a certain thing and them never showing up or doing that thing. It is mentally draining. Save yourself from feeling drained and frustrated and angry and upset and all of that distress that comes from expecting something to happen and that not happening. Once again, it's definitely easier said than done, but I just feel like if you expect nothing, then anything that you do get is a bonus. And yeah, I'm still very much working on that, I'll be so for real. But if I would have known a lot of the advice that I've given in this video in my 20s, I obviously can't go back in time, and I wouldn't want to. You know, how my life journey has gone and is going is exactly how it's supposed to be, and I'm content with that. But if I can share my knowledge and help at least one of you out there, then I'm very happy. Shout out to me in my 20s, because I've come a long way. Like, if you could see me then and see me now, yeah, she'd be proud. That brings me to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did and you've been enjoying the content so far, then definitely consider subscribing. If you're already subscribed to the channel, a massive thank you to you. I appreciate it so much. And I will see you in the next one.